and you can show that Petri label, too. In fact, you can show it proudly, because the name Petri is the proudest name in the history of American wines. And now I'm sure our old friend Dr. Watson's ready for us, so let's go in and join him.
Come in. Good evening, Mr. Bartow.
Good evening, Doctor. Well, the puppies seem very happy tonight.
Yeah, tonight, yes, but you should have seen him this afternoon. I doubt if there were two more frightened little dogs in the whole of California. Quiet, will you now? Not you control yourself.
What happened, Doctor?
Well, I took him for a walk on the beach. As we were scrambling round a rocky point, a seal popped his head up in the water quite close to us.
What'd the puppies do?
Oh, both of them barked at it furiously.
And the seal?
Blew a few bubbles and then barked right back. I don't know what the world's speed record is for short-legged dogs, but I'm sure they broke it.
You know, Doctor, I'll have to join you on one of those afternoon strolls of yours. You always seem to be having such exciting adventures. Oh, and talking of that, how's about tonight's new Sherlock Holmes adventure?
Well, I'm all ready for you, my boy. In fact, I was looking over my notes on the case just before you arrived. This is another story in which Sherlock Holmes' elder brother, Mycroft, played an important part. Mycroft Holmes was 7 years older than Sherlock, and some said it is superior in powers of observation and deduction.
That sounds like heresy, Doctor.
No, young fellow, my lad. Holmes himself was the first to admit it. In fact, if it hadn't been for his incurable laziness, Mycroft could have been a formidable rival to his younger brother. However, Mycroft did hold a position of considerable importance at the Foreign Office, and it was there that tonight's story begins. It was in the winter of 1899, and Mycroft Holmes, after a gourmet's lunch, was reclining full length on a leather settee. His eyes were closed, his hands were folded across his stomach, and his breath came rhythmically. A cynic would have declared that Mycroft Holmes was taking an after-luncheon snooze. But Mr. Holmes' secretary, a gentleman by the name of Gardner, was a realist. He tapped on the door discreetly. Then he rapped on it. And still there was no response, so he opened the door and entered. After a moment, he gave what he thought was a discreet cough. Mycroft Holmes opened his eyes and folded his hands and said,
"Found it, Gardner. Must you come in here and bark at me so soon after lunch?"
I'm sorry, Mr. Holmes, but I thought that...
You thought that as I was lying down with my eyes closed that I must be bored, and so you came galloping in. Oh. Well, what do you want?
There's no lady outside, sir. She insists on seeing you personally. I've tried to get rid of her, but...
What's her name?
Mrs. Hudson, sir.
Mrs. Hudson? Huh. Show her in, Gardner. Show her in.
Very good, sir.
Undoubtedly a message from young Sherlock. How are you, Mrs. Hudson?
Oh, good day, Mr. Holmes. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I won't take up much of your time.
Sit down, won't you? Don't leave us, Gardner. I may need you in a few minutes.
Very good, sir.
Now, Mrs. Hudson, what's the message?
Message, sir?
Didn't my brother send you with some message that he was afraid to entrust to the ordinary channels? He's always so confounded and dramatic.
Oh, bless your heart. No, sir. I've come to you with a little problem of my own. I didn't like to bother Mr. Sherlock Holmes with it. He's been so busy lately, and he's looking very tired.
And so you came to me. Delightful.
I thought you wouldn't mind, sir. You've always been so nice and friendly to me.
Pure laziness. It is less effort to keep an old friend than to make a new enemy. But tell me your problem.
Well, it's really my sister's problem, sir. She keeps a boarding house at 14 Kensington Gardens Square in Bayswater. And she's convinced that one of her boarders, a man who has a room on the first floor back, she's convinced that he's a birdman.
And what in heaven's name is a birdman? Do you know, Gardner?
No, sir. I can't imagine.
Oh, it's like a werewolf, gentlemen, except that the man turns into a bird.
Oh, come now, Mrs. Hudson.
Oh, I know it sounds daft, but my sister's in a dreadful state. Of course, I've been with your brother long enough, sir, to know that such things are nonsense. But how can I prove it to her?
What reason does your sister give for holding a strange belief?
She keeps finding pigeon feathers in the room. Now, the man doesn't keep pigeons, sir. My sister knows that for a fact.
Has she found any traces of scattered food on the window ledge?
None, sir. No signs of any pigeons, except the feathers. My sister's a wee bit fey, Mr. Holmes.